Hey, all right. My notes are copious for this topic, so I'm going to start talking very quickly and hopefully get through everything that I want to talk about. Today we're talking about why ADHDers can't do easy tasks. And before you flip out and get very angry with me, if you've been on my page at all, I am very clear that ADHDers can do easy and difficult tasks, and that's actually what I teach people to realize. So just let me make that clear first. You can, but this is the language that we usually use, right? When we're talking about our challenges, our struggles, we're constantly saying, like, I can't do this, or why can't I do this is the very typical question. Like, why can't I just do the dishes? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Or why can't I just focus long enough to do whatever it is that you're trying to do? And most of the time, other people label the things we struggle with as very simple and easy. So today, that's what we're talking about. Why can't we? Because that's the language that we use around this. So why can't you, at least right now in your life, why can't you do whatever it is that it should be so easy and you're struggling so hard to do? Couple of things that I notice in all of my clients and in my own life. And one of them is you are not deciding to do it ahead of time. So a lot of us, what we try to do is maybe we have a list. Maybe, okay, writing it down is good. You have a list of everything you want to do in a day or a week. And what we try to do is decide moment by moment, what should I do next? Should I do the laundry? Should I get on Facebook? So the problem with that is that what we're trying to do is make a decision with our in the moment brain, which is our lower brain, our primal brain, the one that is most concerned with just getting us to survive. And all it cares about is seeking pleasure, avoiding pain, and conserving energy. So in that decision-making process, what we're trying to make ourselves do is choose the thing that will actually currently create pain for us. It will rob us of pleasure in the moment, and it will take energy because that decision itself is taking energy. And if you're going to decide to go ahead and do the thing that your brain has decided is painful, that will take more energy because you have to use willpower to do it. Okay, so deciding in the moment all day long is basically what we're trying to do, and it is destroying our energy, destroying our resolve. It is the reason why by your third or fourth decision, it's just like, I'm just going to relax for the rest of the day. Okay, the complicating factor in this is that a lot of us are drawn to or surrounded by people who seem to operate this way. Like my husband, he just has kind of a mental list of the things that quote need to be done, and he is driven to accomplish those things. So he doesn't have to really plan. He's just like, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get this done. And he can't really let himself rest until that happens. It's almost like his comfort is based on achieving those things. So it can be easy for me to see that and go, that's how I'm supposed to do it. And if you're doing that, then what I want to tell you is that is not how we need to do it. How we need to do it is to use our higher brains, our prefrontal cortex, decide ahead of time what we're going to do with our time tomorrow or this week. When am I going to do this task? How long will it take? Even if you have to guess on that, to put that into a schedule and to execute that schedule when the time comes. Now, either you are not using a schedule, if this is a big problem for you, or you are not using it well. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what that means later. Don't let that bother you, because there are simple solutions that you can practice, put into your life, and start to take control of your time. So when you're deciding ahead of time, your prefrontal cortex is concerned with giving you the best life possible, not just survival, but like actually growing and contributing and being part of this beautiful human race that is so flawed and so fantastic at the same time. So your prefrontal cortex will decide based on a much broader range of criteria. What do I want to do based on my values, based on the time I have, based on how much rest that I need? So you want to make your decisions for when you're going to do a task and how long it's going to take ahead of time. And then you want to follow through on that. Another problem is you may be underestimating how long that task will actually take. Most of us are time blind, time insensitive, so we don't have a very good idea how long things actually take. The solution to that is just evaluation. You schedule a certain amount of time. When you notice that time was not enough, you know in the future you need to schedule more. So that takes paying attention to the task as you're doing it. and consistently scheduling and tweaking that schedule. Another problem is that you're overestimating how much focus you can easily maintain. So if, for instance, you decide you're going to clean your whole house on a Saturday and you're going to chunk off 8 hours and just focus, maybe your hyper focus will kick in, maybe it won't. A lot of times that's something that we don't have a whole lot of control over. So what's better, in my opinion, my professional opinion, is to know how long you easily focus on a task, to break down your task into smaller chunks, and to plan the breaks for yourself. So when you're scheduling, when you're deciding ahead of time, to say, instead of planning 2 hours for writing a paper, maybe you focus well for 20 minutes. Do that, you take a break, do something rejuvenating during that break, ideally physical activity to get your body amped back up, and then go back to it, and you have that scheduled in. Okay, so the reason why you're not doing what you want to do, the easy tasks, and why you're not doing any of the things I've already listed, because a lot of us know that those things would be useful and helpful, and we might still not be doing it. So the number one, the reason underlying all of this is that your thoughts, the thoughts that you're thinking habitually, you don't consciously choose every thought, a lot of them pop up. Your thoughts are making you feel an emotion that is making you seek comfort instead of seeking to finish the task, start and finish the task. Let me explain that a little bit. Everything that we do or don't do is because of how we feel or think we will feel. Okay? So every single action you take, people will tell you that feelings don't matter and that you should ignore them. No, feelings are the only reason that you do or don't do anything, ever. It's always because of a feeling. The reason that you pursue relationships, the reason that you get on Facebook, the reason that you leave your house, the reason you stay in your house, it's always because of an emotion. And that would be really bad news if what we typically believe about emotions were true, which is that we don't really get to control them, that they are just a reaction to the things that happen to us. I think even the Google definition of emotion kind of leads you to think that, right? Like that whatever occurs in your life, it causes an emotion in you. And this is absolutely 100% false, which is great news. The truth is, your feelings do not come from what happened to you. They do not come from other people. They don't come from whims and a magical wind that floats through your brain. Your emotions come from the thoughts that you are thinking. Okay? So the reason that we do anything is because of how we feel. The reason that we feel anything is because of how we think. This is such good news because you have total control over what you choose to think. Yes, you do have habit thoughts that are going to pop up, but you have the ability to learn how to notice those thoughts, to question those thoughts, whether they are true or not, to choose a different thought if you so decide, and to then feel a different feeling. When you feel something different, you will do something different. So if, for example, you have been thinking before a task, but maybe you decide, okay, I'm going to do the dishes, or I scheduled dishes. This is just a really easy task because most of us do them. And you're thinking a thought similar to, or maybe including like, this will take too long, it will be boring, I don't want to, I can't, let's just take any of those. You will feel fear for the boredom. You will feel resistance towards something you don't want to do, don't want to have to do. You'll feel a rebellion against having to. You will feel the desire to avoid this because it will be so unpleasant. And if it's going to take too long, you will feel like it's impossible. Like, I'm not going to do something that will take too long. Why would I bother? So what you will do from those feelings, from feeling avoidant, resistant, angry, fearful, rebellious, is you will go do something else. You will not do the dishes, or you will force yourself to do the dishes and get very exhausted over a small task, which will mean the rest of the day you'll make poorer and poorer decisions. So the difference would be to notice, I'm thinking this is going to take too long. I'm thinking I don't want to. I'm thinking it's going to be so boring. And decide, I'm actually going to think something else. I'm going to think something like, this will be done in 10 minutes. Or, I planned it, so I'm going to do it. Or I can turn on my favorite podcast or audiobook or music, and this will actually be kind of fun. And those thoughts, if you do the work that I do and look at the truth of them, those thoughts are as true or truer than anything you were thinking that was making you feel so nasty. Your feelings change. You can go do that work without having to force yourself. Everything actually becomes easier. So this is what I teach people to do. This was a very brief explanation of it. If you haven't been exposed to this before, please follow me, stay tuned, reach out for more information, because this is what I coach people to be able to do in their lives. Once you can notice your thoughts, allow your feelings to be there without freaking out, change your thoughts to something that creates a different feeling, you actually have so much control over your whole life. You can start to just go out and do things, which means that when you schedule them, you know they'll get done because you know you have control over how you feel. And when you control how you feel, you control what you do. This is true for ADHDers and neurotypicals alike. Anyone who tells you that you can't do something because of your ADHD, even your own brain, that is not true. That is not true. I do not believe that. I don't care how bad your ADHD is. Come talk to me. Okay, this is what I teach you how to do. Long video. I hope you stuck with it. Thank you for everyone that did, and I hope this helps. And please comment or ask questions if you have something you're interested in hearing about. Okay, bye-bye.